Hi guys, Dorothy here, professional astrologer. You can find me on the web at nhastrologer.com. And thank you for coming and listening to this today. I'm going to talk about 2019. I'm going to do a video forecast for each of the zodiac signs. But first, I'm going to give you 5 or 6 minutes of the year overview. Take notes. And then this will be the introduction. It's going to be in front of each one of the other videos that I create. So if you watch this introduction, you can skip it in the other videos if you end up watching more than one. All right. So let's get started. We have eclipses. Capricorn and Cancer. Cancer, Capricorn, oppositions, full moons, new moons, starting in January, ending in December. 5 eclipses this year. January 5th, January 21, see if I can remember, July 2nd, July 16, December 26. You could slow that down or hit pause and listen again. Those eclipses, mainly the Cancer Capricorn. So what this is doing, the eclipses, they change zodiac signs every 18 months or so. So these eclipses with the transiting lunar nodes, they're called, that's where eclipses happen. It is helping us and ushering us into a more authentic place in who we are. What we're focusing on is our home, security, our career. Do you feel like you're being true to yourself? That Cancer eclipses especially are helping us to tap into our emotions and how secure do I feel in my home? Do I feel secure? Can I come home and be vulnerable and emotional and comfortable and relaxed? Because home life, Cancer, and the public life, Capricorn, are 2 very different things, but they are tethered by an opposition. They are, when something happens on one end of the stick, it happens on the other end, right? Because there's always 2 ends to a stick, unless you make a circle, and that's all the 12 zodiac signs. But the opposition, Cancer, Capricorn, is ushering us into this area of being authentic in how we're presenting ourselves to the world. Now, a lot of people, it will create insecurities for some people, depending on how evolved or how in alignment with what's important for you. So this Cancer stuff can make us overly emotional, or it can help us tap into how we need to be more in tune with how we feel. Because life should feel good. Life shouldn't be difficult. Difficult things happen, yes, and we move through them. We always move through them. And that's where you tap into your emotions. And that's what this eclipse stuff is all about, in Cancer especially, helping us to get in touch with who you really are. And then the opposite energy of Capricorn is about being an authority at what it is that you do, feeling authentic, feeling like you're very validating how you feel. You can take control of things, which is great if you need to, but make sure you do it from an emotional place. How do I feel about this? Great, now I can take charge. All right, this is that Cancer Capricorn energy. It's super strong this year because of the eclipses. I mean, we have this energy every year, but it's powerful. So I'm going to, in the individual videos, I'm going to talk about it. You write all those keywords down that resonated with you, and then I'm going to talk about it in each house when it happens, okay? And so you'll get the zodiac energy of it a little more specific for you, okay? What else do I want to talk about? We also have Jupiter and Neptune squaring off this year, and it's a mutable square. Jupiter in Sag loves to experience life and to learn through diving in, full immersion. Squaring Neptune in Pisces. Neptune's been in Pisces for ages, so it's not a big deal, because it's just helping us to get into a more spiritual place for a lot of people, right? But Jupiter and Neptune in a mutable square, this is just enough tension, so it gives us motivation. Just enough, because squares aren't negative, like you'll read in some books, how they just villainize squares. But we need a little bit of tension to move us, especially with the mutable signs. So to me, this is a fantastic energy for the year. Now, the mutable square between Jupiter and Neptune will inspire us to be creative, to work on our intuition, work on our spiritual practices, things like that. And the square energy of that, and you can write this down too. Let me find my notes. Here it is. January 13th, June 16th, September 21. So those 3 times is when they're exact, but they'll be playing with each other almost all year long. So that means we all have an opportunity to really tap into intuition and our spiritual and creative abilities. All right. Helps us to smooth things out. Now, some people might take this and just dive off the deep end and go into their illusion and go into a place that, you know, that if we drink too much or get into drugs. So drugs and alcohol sometimes can really, people can go off a deep end with that too. But the Capricorn, especially the Capricorn eclipses and the energy there, it definitely helps to anchor us in a little bit more, because we also have Saturn sextile Neptune this year. And with Saturn sextile Neptune, that's a fantastic anchor. I like that it's there. We actually need it because it's going to help to ground us in whatever it is we're going. So most of us don't go off a deep end into, you know, la la land. But hey, if you feel like diving in once in a while into music, I hear La La Land and I think music. You go into music, go into meditation, trust your intuition, get into painting, get into photography, whatever it is. These are the beautiful creative things we can do with Saturn sextile Neptune and the Jupiter squaring Neptune. All right, and I'll give you some more specifics in just a minute. Don't go away. I'll be right back. All right, hi Aquarius. This one is for you. Let's get right to it. January 5th, we have new moon solar eclipse. It's at 15 degrees of Capricorn, and where it lands in your solar chart is in the 12th house. Now, new moon in Capricorn is about setting goals based on business and career and feeling confident in life. In the 12th house, though, what that's doing is it's bringing up hidden skills, hidden talents, hidden fears, right? Things that we kind of keep behind the closet door, if you will. It's also the area of the chart that is spirituality, intuition, dreams, really trusting those instincts. And so for the whole year, all of 2019 and into 2020, we have a lot of eclipses that are activating this area and the area straight across the chart. And I'll talk about them as we get to it today. And so I want you to think about this, and because this is a place in the chart where we can really make some headway in working through old karmic patterns and working through things from our past. So I want you to set goals based on how you want to feel confident in these areas and how you want to set goals, and because Capricorn's about setting goals too, but set goals and working towards what feels like you have a solid foundation and structure underneath you. All right, that's the first thing that I want to talk about today. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about, let me pop these charts up, is where Jupiter and Neptune are, because they're squaring off, which is a nice thing. They're in a mutable square, Jupiter in Sag, in your 11th house of associations and groups and causes that you can get behind, things that are really important for you. And it squares Neptune, who is over there in the 2nd house of what I love, what I value, how I use skills and talents to earn a living. I really feel with this square together, because they're also creative and artistic, that you can be in a group, involved in a group, or be a teacher in a group and get a lot of beautiful benefit out of this. So you're not feeling so much of the heavy weight of the Capricorn energy that's present in the 12th house right now. So see how you can use that. And one of the other things that we have going on simultaneously with Jupiter squaring Neptune, we also have Saturn making a sextile to Neptune. And all of these things happen pretty much, like I said, simultaneously. January, June, September. I think the last hit of the Saturn one is, here I got it right here, is November. So, and it's in the intro too, so you can go write it down. But the thing is, Saturn sextiling Neptune, while Jupiter's squaring Neptune, is like being creative, allow it to flow, right? Saturn is in your 12th house with all these other Capricorn planets. So that is like a tether. So if you can let loose a little bit and just go out and be creative, trust your instincts, become more authentic to yourself than ever before. I'm not saying you weren't before, but just really step into what you want, what your authenticity is. You're really going to have a great year. You're able to really align with who you truly are. And it may take the whole year to really get the gist of it, but that's all right. It's that way for all of us. This is not new. This is just normal astrological behavior. All right. Moving on to January 21st, we have another supermoon. We have a full moon. It's a lunar eclipse, right? We have many supermoons every year. Half of them are supermoons. We just don't talk about the new moons. So this full moon lunar eclipse supermoon is at 0 Leo. And where is that in your chart? That's right on the edge of the partnership and relationship sector, because this is at 0 degrees. So it's just barely in that area of relationships. Means the sun's in Aquarius, though. Your sign. So this final eclipse in the Leo Aquarius oppositions, where we've been having them since 2017, it is the final hurrah. It's the full moon shows us what we've been looking at, working on for a while now, 6 months, 18 months, up to 3 years. You know, it helps us to see the processes we've been going through. This final Leo full moon eclipse in your 7th house of partnerships and relationships will reveal to you what's working and what isn't working. In any partnership, that's an important partnership. They're not just reserved. That 7th house is not just reserved for spouses, okay? It's reserved for important partnerships as well. Now, we also have Uranus moving back into the sign of Taurus, and I think this is significant because wherever he's moving, he was there in May 17, and basically all of May, June, July. He went retrograde back then, and now he's back. So look into May, June, July. What was edgy? What was moving? What boundaries were being pushed? What was changing? What was stagnant that all of a sudden now you have to work through something? That would be Uranus moving into the 4th house, right? So for you, it's home and family. So Uranus is going to be in that sector for the next 7 years. And so with that being said, what we need to pay attention to is go ahead and try and be a little edgy. Feel the sense of freedom while you're changing the patterns and the habits that need to be changed. All right. Uranus, wherever it comes through in our charts, is asking us to break out of these old patterns and habits. We do have 3 retrogrades, Mercury retrogrades this year. We always have 3. This year they're in the water signs because everything else I've been talking about is like pretty earthy stuff. But these 3 things are in the water signs, and being in the water signs, that will help us to really tap into what we're feeling emotionally. I'll get into more details of when they are and what they're more about and all of that in my weekly forecast. So make sure and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you'll be notified when they're up. I do a video every single week. Been doing it since 2009. I have like over 700 videos up there. It's like crazy, a lot of work. It's not a complaint. It's just an observation. All right. I love astrology, and you guys, Aquarius, you guys typically have a little, you kind of lean right towards it because Aquarius rules astrology. So hopefully you really like it. Let's move on to, I also want to talk about the Jupiter retrograde, again, in that 11th house. So if you've been expanding and teaching and taking on too many responsibilities in that group endeavors that you've been interested in and teaching of the groups, when Jupiter retrogrades, April 10 to August 11, you'll be able to kind of slow it down a little bit and see what's really feasible, what's a better idea. Okay, and that's one of the things that we'll do while Jupiter's retrograde. And Saturn also retrogrades. Everybody retrogrades, right? Except the sun and the moon. April 29 to September 17, and that as well as in that 12th house. So this is a period, Saturn retrograde in the 12th house is a period where we tend to put our nose in a book and try to understand and learn something really deep. It may be that literally, or it may be that we just take a dive in to whatever psychologically we're working on, or really putting the hammer to the nail and building something important for us. And again, it's really psychological, that 12th house, because it's the things that we've worked on throughout our life, but it's the storage unit for the things that we haven't been able to take the time to work on. So whenever anybody's retrograde and these eclipses in that area for you, Aquarius, it will definitely bring, if you have any skeletons, out of the closet, so you're able to work on it and just get another level of it taken care of. And Saturn rules our skeletons, so that's really appropriate. I'm trying to make fun of it, make light of it. Let's move to July 2nd, new moon solar eclipse at 10 degrees of Cancer. That's over in the 6th house for you. And that 6th house is Virgo's natural home, has everything to do with what your daily routine is and your coworkers, your pets. When we have a new moon in that area, that means we're focusing in on our health as well. All right. So set goals that you can emotionally get behind. That's the Cancer energy of this eclipse. And focus in on, what's good for you, what you emotionally want and need as far as work, your health, your wellness, and those everyday patterns and cycles that you have. Look at them and really get in alignment with it. So if you need to make a new habit of something, because, like I want to do yoga every day and I just don't get to it, but maybe I'll figure out how to do that 10 minutes every single day. I do stretch every day, so no shaming me. But you know what I'm saying? So having a new moon there, if I can emotionally attach myself to what it is I want to do day in and day out, then I'll have much more success. The next eclipse is 2 weeks later on July 16th, and that's a full moon eclipse in Capricorn. So the sun's still in Cancer, but the moon is over in Capricorn, right next to Pluto. So this full moon with Pluto will illuminate a lot of the things that you've been working on since the January 5th eclipse in the same area. January 5th eclipse was a new moon. Remember, setting new goals based on what you want your foundation and how you want to learn about yourself and all of those things. Scroll back 10 minutes if you want to hear that part again. This full moon will illuminate what it is that you've learned so far and what will work and what won't work. Because with Capricorn doesn't really care for excess, so it's going to shed whatever it doesn't need. Now, to add to that, we also have on December 2nd, Jupiter moving into the sign of Capricorn. And when Jupiter moves into Capricorn, it then as well moves into the 12th house. It used to rule the 12th house, so it's the co-ruler of that sign, of that location of the chart as well. So this is an opportunity to really get into that spiritual growth, metaphysical growth. Don't make it all hooey. This is Capricorn, so you're going to want to take steps logically and practical. Right? One of my #1 students right now didn't believe in astrology and didn't believe in a lot of things. And every time he doesn't believe in something, he decides he's going to go study it to see. And it turns out to be something that he's really interested in. And he's quite the astrologer after just a year. So that would be a transit like this, Jupiter in the 12th. Let me dig into something that I don't know if I believe it or not. So I'm going to learn. Sag is learning, Jupiter is learning, and the Capricorn is like getting the schooling to do it. I want you to see if you feel like you want to do something like that. I like the fact that Jupiter in the 12th, it helps lighten the heaviness of some of the other things that are in there. So you're able to get more in alignment with who you are, okay? Now, the final thing I want to talk about, this is more in the 12th house. I told you this is the area of your chart for the year. This is December 26th. A new moon solar eclipse, another new moon in the 12th house in Capricorn. It's right there with Jupiter. So now that's going to amplify everything I just said about that 12th house. Going in, being spiritual, getting education, and really learning about those deep recesses of your mind and your heart and your spirit and your soul. And it would be so helpful if you had an opportunity to learn something that is spiritual. It doesn't have to be all this unicorn fairy stuff. Some people love that, and that's fine. But you've got your practical person being an Aquarius and all this Capricorn stuff where it is. So find a way to get started on some of those things just for yourself, all right? It will help you expand and grow even more. I'm going to leave you with that, and get your own year ahead. And at my website, nhastrologer.com, lots more personal information than just this. All right. Thank you very much. Blessings. Namaste.